In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about how to add and edit sermons. So from your home dashboard page, you're going to want to go to the left-hand side here. You're going to hover over Sermons, click on All Sermons. And these are all the sermons that are currently on your website. If we go to the Sermons page, we see that these sermons are both here on the page. If we want to add a new one, we're going to click on Add New. And we're going to call this sermon New Sermon. And then we just basically march down the page and fill out the information that we want to be on this sermons page. So the date preached, we're going to just find the date that sermon was preached. And for this one, we're going to say it was preached on the 8th of July. Sermon type. Most often it's going to be the Sunday morning message. I will show you how to create different sermon types in a minute, but for right now we're just going to call this Sunday morning message. If you have a main Bible passage, you type it in here, and here is the format. So we're just going to select one of these that's already been typed in the past. You would type it in this format, and that will appear also on the sermons page. If there's a sermon description, you want to fill it in here. Some churches will want to do this and some won't, but it's available if you need to. The sermon MP3 file is what we put in here, and we're going to click to do that. We click on Add Sermon Audio. If it's already in your media library, you would find it here and click on it. If you want to upload it from your computer, you click on Upload Files, click on Select Files, and then you would navigate to the place in your computer where that sermon is. Click on it, click on Open, and then click on Use this file, and that will add it to the sermon. For right now, I'm just going to, for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to click on one of the previous ones here. I'm going to click on this one and click on Use this file, and then that one will be the one that appears on the sermons page. You don't need to worry about this, and if you don't have video sermons, you don't need to worry about this or this. If you have notes, if you have a PDF file for notes, again, you do the same thing. You click on Add File and either select it from your media library or you can upload it from your computer. I'm not going to do this, and if you want to add a bulletin to it in PDF format, you can do the same thing with your Add File here. Then I'm going to go back up to the top, and again, I'm just going to march down the right-hand side of the page. I'm not going to publish this yet because I don't have all the information. But I'm going to march down the right-hand side, and the preacher, you would either type in the preacher's name that you want to appear and then click on Add, or you can also choose from the most used tags. In this case, we have two people who we have sermons from in the past, so I'm going to click on Pat Youngdahl, and her name will appear here. And if it's from a particular sermon series, again, you would either type in the name of the sermon series here and click Add, or you can click from the ones that were used in the past. Single sermon. This is a sort of a catch-all kind of sermon that's not part of a series. You can just click on that and use that. Again, if you want to have if you want to have a topic, you would do the same thing here. Or if you're doing a series on a Bible book, you could add that here. And if you want to add an image, that would be you'd select Set Sermon Image, and again, you would do the same thing. Either select from your media library, or you can upload one from your computer. Once everything is all set, you're going to go back up to the top, and you're going to publish this sermon, the new sermon. And once I do that, I go back to my sermons page, click on Refresh, and the new sermon will be added here. I click on New Sermon. I can listen to it here. So that's how to add a new sermon. As I said before, I was going to show you how to add different service types. So what you would do is you would go to the left-hand side here, click on Service Types, and you could add some more service types here. You would just type in the name. You don't have to worry about the slug. You could add a description if you wanted to. And once you've added those things, you just click on Add New Service Type, and then it will be added over here, and you'll be able to select it when you add or edit a sermon. To edit any sermon that you've currently added, you go back into All Sermons again. This new sermon here, if I want to edit that sermon, I'm going to click on, I can either click on the sermon itself or edit, and then I would just click on the new sermon. And then I can click on any one of these things here that you did before, and you can edit the sermon name. You could go down and edit anything that you wanted here. You could just change the date if you wanted to, or make any edits that you want to any of the information, and then just click on Update. And that's how you would update any sermons that you have. To delete a sermon, you go back into All Sermons. This is just one for demonstration purposes, so I want to delete this one. So I'm just going to go over here, hover over the name, and then click on Trash. And then this sermon will be added to your trash folder right here. It's not completely gone. I can still restore it. If I click on Trash here, I now have the option, if I hover over it, to click on Restore, and that will restore it if I made a mistake by putting it in the trash folder, or I can delete it permanently. And in this case, I want to delete it permanently, so I click on that, and now it's gone. To get back to my other sermons, I go back to Published, and that has all the sermons that are on in my Sermons folder right here. And that's how to add and edit sermons.